I guess let's start with Roni because it looks like we finally have a legacy show and actual like production plans to begin filming this summer. So, the ladies are going to be taking a vacation to St. Bart's. At the NBC Upfronts today, it was announced that the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 5 will actually be a Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roni Legacy, which I think is smart. This should have always been the concept, something short, something sweet, filmed within a week, no more than 2 weeks, kind of just seeing the women reunite and kind of give us those nostalgia vibes, throwback to the OG days, and kind of help us reminisce on what Roni was and just kind of tie it up in a nice little bow, right? Short, sweet, 6 episodes, which is typically what Ultimate Girls Trip is. And I think that the concept is great. I'm not like super jazzed about the cast. So we have Luann, we have Sonia, we have Dorinda. We know that they were originally in talks for whatever the original legacy show was going to be. We also have Kelly Bensimone. We have now added Ramona Singer back into the mix. Ramona Singer is going to bring her Ramona Singer stinger. So Luann, Sonia, Dorinda, Kelly Bensimone, Ramona Singer, and then we also have Kristen Takeman, which I thought was a bit interesting. Happy to see Ramona in the mix. I could do without Kelly Bensimone, but fine, whatever. Let's loop her back in. She filmed with all of them, right? Luann, Sonia. Yeah, she filmed with all of them except Kristen. Kristen, I think, is like the wildest one to throw into the mix. I just didn't think she was that great of a housewife, and she was only on for what 2 3 seasons, two seasons, right? And she had the terrible taglines of like, "I may be dumb, but at least I'm pretty," or "I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but at least I'm pretty." And I'm just like, it was just like I don't know. I didn't really care for Kristen, and then she dipped out when there was all of the scandal surrounding her husband. Remember, he was caught on Ashley Madison, and then she did not agree to come back for the following season. So interesting that of all of the housewives are bringing her back. Like I feel like we could have done like a Tinsley. We could have done even a Carol or a Heather Holla Thompson. I think would have been a little more interesting than Kristen Takeman. But there is also no Jill Zarin. Jill Zarin is not returning for this Ultimate Girls Trip, and it doesn't even sound like they asked Jill to participate. The original concept was supposed to have Jill and Kelly, Ramona, Dorinda, Sonia, Luann, and all of them were supposed to film together for this legacy show. And I guess contract negotiations fell through. Jill didn't want to sign her contract. She even like went around, and I remember her doing interviews. I think she was on Jeff Lewis Live, and she was just like, "Here's what happened. One of the housewives called me because I didn't want to sign on for the money, and I wanted, favored nations. Everybody gets paid the same. I started the show. I cast 3 women on the show. Blah 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 blah." Right? Making it seem like she's the reason. At least that was the sentiment I got based off of the interviews that she was giving at the time, that the sentiment that she was giving off was that she was the reason that Roni didn't move forward. And I think she said that on Jeff Lewis, right? Where she was, or maybe it was on a red carpet interview. I don't remember. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name and the person and the outlet. And I know people get mad at me when I don't do that. They're like, "You didn't mention my Instagram account." And I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys. Like my brain. I forget things. But so I remember her specifically saying, if anybody can find a link to it, she said something about how they didn't want to do a concept with just 4 women, right? She's like, it was Kelly, it was Dorinda, Luann, and Sonia, and they didn't want to do a concept with just the 4 of them. So once I pulled out, like, there was no reason for them to move forward. I remember her saying that. It was Jeff Lewis Live or a red carpet interview, possibly both. I think it was with Ricky Cornish, right? It was like a red carpet interview, and then she did a follow up with Jeff. But anyway, she's now given another statement. And so Jill Zarin is telling Page Six that Legacy didn't happen because it wasn't meant to happen. And that's the truth, which I find interesting. She says it has nothing to do with me, and it has nothing to do with it has to do with the producers and what they decided to do. I don't really know. So it seems like she's kind of like flip-flopping on what her position was, because she gave interviews where she's like, it didn't happen because of me. And then now it seems like She's like, well, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. And she also kind of makes it seem like she didn't really want to do the show when it's like, you obviously wanted to do the show. Like, this is legacy. This is OG. Like, even if you don't want to film regular housewives, like, you want to be one of the legacy housewives because you want to be like, I'm important. I meant something in this franchise. I was the heart of the franchise. So good for her. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the producers wanted to deal with her. I'm pretty sure they were like, you were annoying. Contract negotiations were stalled because of you, because you didn't want to sign your contract. And you're right. We didn't want to do it with just 4 women. And now, like, we don't really want you because we don't need you. Imagine, like, the ego, though. Like, she has to really, her ego has to be really bruised right now because not only is the show moving forward without her, but then they replaced her with Kristen Taekman, who's like one of the least impactful. Like, you can put Kristen Taekman like maybe above Jules. Remember Jules Weinstein, and who's the other one? Cindy Barshop. Like, you could put Kristen Taekman just above the two of them. I think even Cindy Barshop maybe was more impactful than Kristen because Cindy at least was like Bethany's replacement, and that's kind of how she was amped up. And so I feel like that was kind of setting her up to fail, to, you know, letting her come off as Bethany's replacement. But yeah, or even Barbara Kay, you know, Kristen Taekman's like in that like lower level in the fish room tier of Roni housewives. To me, it's not that, like, I like Kristen. She's cute. She's pretty. I kind of wish that, I hope Ramona and the girls kind of grill her about the Ashley Madison thing and why she decided to stay with her husband after that, because he was outed when that leak happened. So I guess we shall see. But Roni Legacy is set to film in St. Bart's, which is where they went on vacation back in, I think, season 5. So they're going back to St. Bart's, which I thought was good too. I knew they couldn't do Morocco because season 4 of Ultimate Girls Trip was already set in Morocco. And I mean, I don't know how much Scary Island they kind of want to reenact. I know Scary Island wasn't in St. Bart's. St. Bart's was the pirate trip. Remember when Heather Holland Thompson was like, Luann, you know, you brought strange men into our rooms. You brought strange men into our rooms. And Luann's like, be cool. Don't be all uncool. And then Carol was like, I heard 2 men's voices in the middle of the night, and one of them was Luann's. So we're going back there, which I think is cute. Go back to somewhere you've already been. Morocco would have been perfect, but obviously we're not going to go back to Morocco because we just did season 4. But I think the concept is good. This is what I always wanted of a legacy show for Real Housewives of New York. I don't love this cast. I mean, I love Ramona, Dorinda, Sonia, and Luann. Like, those core 4 I think are great. I don't really know what Kelly and Kristen are going to bring to the show. But at least we have those core 4. And at least we have Luann and Ramona, who are the OGs. And then we have Dorinda and Sonia, who I think really brought a dynamic lightning bolt once they joined the show. They really became part of the fabric of New York. I wish we would have gotten Tinsley, though. And I know Tinsley's been hard to nail down, but even Dorinda said it when we did the live show in Philly with the Brav Bros last month. Dorinda said that she would have loved to have seen Tinsley come back, which now makes me think, if Dorinda was saying all of this on stage, I wonder if, obviously, Dorinda was in negotiations at the time because this was just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm pretty sure this offer was already on the table and they were kind of just fine-tuning everything before the announcement this week at the NBC Upfronts. But it's interesting that she brought up Tinsley's name, and I wonder if she did because maybe Tinsley was originally in talks to join this legacy vacation show. They should have gone to Cartagena. That would have been funny. That would have been a lot of fun. That I'm sure was an option as well, but I think St. Bart's is good. But sorry, Jill Zarin. Keep selling those rugs, girl.